Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for the nation's sharpest opinion, the story that's trending. Story the country is talking about, but surprisingly so. Very surprising, very strange. Story not much of the media is talking about. I don't know why. I don't know why the media does things like this. Stories that are so much in the news not being debated on television. Why? Is there some conflict of interest somewhere? Ladies and gentlemen, Patanjali stocks saw a dip today, big dip, after the Supreme Court had imposed a temporary ban on advertising some of their products. The Supreme Court was very clear and very clinical in its view and held unequivocally that Baba Ramdev's Patanjali is misleading the country and, in its words, taking the people of the country for a ride with their claims of curing serious diseases, chronic diseases. So on the one side, you have this view saying that Patanjali, in the name of an ad campaign, is making wrong medical claims of cure that are not backed by absolute science. It's a serious matter. On the other side is Patanjali's view, the view that's coming from Patanjali, that it is a move against Ayurvedic beliefs, findings, and line of cure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the issue is not about Ayurveda, though Patanjali is trying to equate itself with Ayurveda. The issue is not that. The issue is with the claim that you cure disease, cure this disease, that disease with this drug, this tablet, this potion. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two views today. That there is a larger debate that comes up, whether brands have to take responsibility for the claims that they make. They can't go into technicality. If you are being very assertive in your advertising, saying that you take this medicine, you become okay. And if you are questioning you technically, you can't say, oh, I never really made the claim, and hide behind the Ayurveda argument and then say, I never really made the claim. In fact, I'll quote a technicality to protect myself. That can't be. If Baba Ramdev is saying openly, take this and you will get a solution, or if he is backing it, then it has to be medically proven. The argument cannot be of belief. It has to be of science. Especially when it comes to health care, people's wellness, people's health, it's a serious matter. Because viewers, health has to go beyond just faith. You have to go beyond the slogan, especially when you're popularized by a prominent public figure. Baba Ramdev is a very prominent public figure. So the question then happens is, if Baba Ramdev makes a claim, or Patanjali on behalf of Baba Ramdev, or Baba Ramdev on behalf of Patanjali is making a claim, you can't give a technical response. So the question to address really is, that is the problem only with Patanjali? We live in a time post-COVID when there is an entire industry that has been created with influencers with no medical backing, no knowledge, popularizing fads on social media, which are taken as absolute. And there are also large brands which are getting into this space of herbal medicine, alternative medicine. Big companies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not taking names. Big foreign FMCG companies all want to ride the commercial wave and say, take this, take that, mix this with that, and this is the fad right now, let's capitalize on it, let's make tons of money. But will they take the responsibility if something goes wrong with you? Will they take the responsibility for side effects? Will they take the responsibility for dosage? Will they take the responsibility for the fact that a lot of these things which are passing as fads, herbal fads, this fad, that fad, are over the counter? They can be bought like you buy a toothbrush. But will these companies take the medical responsibility if the dosage goes wrong and something goes wrong with you, your health, the health of your loved ones? Will they take responsibility? And how far does this go and how much can be banned? Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe in asking the more difficult questions. And I believe the issue about Patanjali is something on which Patanjali must give a clear answer. And my view is very clear. When it comes to medicine, we cannot hide behind faith or religion or anything. It is about people's health. Now let's debate.
हमने कोरोनिल बना रखी है। इसमें श्वासारी जो है ये फेफड़ों की इम्यूनिटी के लिए, ये जो है कोरोनिल ये पूरी बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी के लिए, तो स्वासारी खाली पेट 2-2 गोली सुबह दोपहर शाम 3 बार, और कोरोनिल खाने के बाद 2-2 गोली 3 बार। खाली पेट स्वासारी, खाने के बाद कोरोनिल। तो ये पूरी बॉडी की इम्यूनिटी के लिए ये बेस्ट है।
In a huge setback, the Supreme Court has issued a contempt notice to the company for issuing misleading advertisement. Patanjali Ayurved has been restrained from advertising or branding products manufactured by it.
The Apex Court has pointed out that Patanjali Ayurveda Limited, which is the medicinal arm of the Patanjali Group, which essentially makes medicines, Ayurveda medicines, which of course has a regulator, has a ministry to it, but however this group, the Patanjali Group's medicinal arm, was promoting products rampantly. The court has strictly pointed it out and in fact shot across a letter, a show cause letter to the MD of the Patanjali Group saying that why we should not have contempt proceedings against you.
Despite Patanjali Foods stating it doesn't relate to Supreme Court's order, its shares nosedived.
Markets open tomorrow. What is the fate of Patanjali shares? Because there's a lot of trouble brewing for the company, for Patanjali Group as a whole. Although Patanjali Ayurveda Limited, which is the medicinal arm of the Patanjali Group, has clarified that it's a sister concern, the Patanjali Foods Limited, that has come under the Supreme Court scanner.
Supporters of Ramdev feel he is being targeted. Is there a conspiracy or merit to misleading claim? Let's debate.
Viewers, firstly, I want to say I'm not concerned with this decline of Patanjali Foods, FMCG company, how much crores of rupees Baba Ramdev has lost or Patanjali has lost. That is not my concern at all. My concern is with the assurance of health. And I have with me Swapnil Kothari, noted lawyer from Mumbai. I have with me Professor Dr. Sharat Kumar Agarwal, National President of the Indian Medical Association from 2022 to 2023, ex-president. Rahul Ishwar, well-known right-leaning activist, backs Patanjali, backs Baba Ramdev, and Mithun Vijay Kumar, who's an author. I believe he's also been supporting Patanjali's side. He's joining us from Kerala. Thank you, Mithun. So, Rahul, I'll start with you since you are defending out here. The Supreme Court bench has said that Patanjali has been stopped from advertising or branding products meant for treating diseases. Okay? So I'm not talking generally we are not talking about Patanjali toothpaste, but we are talking about various other things which Baba Ramdev does solidly promote publicly in advertising as if you take this, you will be cured. And these are serious ailments, chronic ailments. And, you know, many people who don't get cured from an allopathic route sometimes see these Patanjali products as a mix of Ayurvedic base and a lot of faith added to it. Right? But Ayurvedic practitioners don't put out advertisements saying that if you take this, you will be cured. They don't advertise it. People go for it voluntarily. They don't put out this misleading advertisement. You take this, your diabetes will go. You take this, your nerve issues will go. You take this, your liver issues will go. But the kind of claims that Baba Ramdev makes are very euphoric, very final. And there's a large number of people who may believe him. Right? That is the simple question.
Two submissions, Arnab.
We must address here.
Two submissions. One, 100 years back when the British were ruling us, they used to call us India is the land of snake charmers and half-naked babas. From that age to an age where yoga is celebrated and accepted worldwide, including the UN, Ayurveda is celebrated and accepted worldwide, including every major nation. We have come a long way. I concede that the paradigms of allopathy and the paradigm of Ayurveda may be different, but Ayurveda is a part of India's heritage culture. We should value it. Now comes to the aspect of health, which you rightly mentioned. I personally have experienced great solace from Ayurveda. My family has experienced, and it has really cured my back pain, which was very serious, which the allopathy couldn't cure. I'm not saying everything is similar like this, but Ayurveda has a paradigm of its own. So we should not evaluate Ayurveda on allopathy
Can I ask you one
paradigm.
thing? Can I ask you one thing? Can I ask you, Rahul?
Please, sir,
Rahul,
please.
I believe Ayurveda is too deep, too much part of our knowledge base, too much in the history of our country. There are too many great practitioners who have contributed to Ayurveda, and I am also a believer in Ayurveda. Okay? Having said that, how do you equate Patanjali with Ayurveda?
Two things. Let us be fair to Sri Baba Ramdev.
How do you
Baba Ramdev
equate Patanjali with Ayurveda?
because Baba Ramdev has been
No.
a champion of
I am asking
Ayurveda and
you,
yoga.
please understand. No, Baba Ramdev can say I'm inspired by Ayurveda. No. He can say I'm inspired by Ayurveda. He can say I'm following what are Ayurvedic practices. Okay? But now we must understand this is a big business. And the business is making a claim that you will be cured of blood pressure. You will be cured of diabetes. You will be cured of arthritis. You will be cured of asthma. You will be cured of this. You will be cured of corona. In fact, he had made a claim that Coronil is effective against COVID. Okay. Now the government later advised that this is not a cure. But at that point of time, people were so desperate. You were desperate, I was desperate. Many people who were buying Coronil did not look at it as Baba Ramdev's view that it is an immunity booster. I will take an amla, it will be an immunity booster. But people bought Coronil thinking it is a solution to COVID. That if you have Coronil, you will not get COVID.
It's an
am I right or
absolute
wrong?
given.
Mithun, am I right or wrong? At that
you are
time,
right, but just one submission.
when
It's
you
an
bought
absolute
Coronil,
given.
if you bought Coronil, you thought Baba Ramdev has told me that if I have Coronil, I will not get COVID.
And so it is an absolute given
Am I
that
right
there
or
should
wrong?
not be but there is right, but there is a catch. It's an absolute
No,
given
you
that
tell
there
me first.
there is not,
It's about the claim.
It's
about the claim. Don't give me a catch.
You are right, but there is
don't
a
give me a
catch.
catch.
But there is
A person is saying, I am buying Coronil not because meri sehat achhi hogi. The person is buying Coronil because he's saying if I take Coronil, I will not get COVID. Now, is that a true claim or a false claim? Mithun, you
there
tell me.
should not be any
Is that a
misleading
true
thing.
claim or
There
a
is no
false
doubt.
claim?
But at the same point, there are grey areas. We shouldn't forget. There are grey areas. Even in US,
I can't hear you, Mithun. You have muted yourself.
Allopathy
No,
vaccine
grey
is
area.
incontested.
No. One way, if it's a grey area, then you can't make an absolute claim. I'm sorry, you cannot make an absolute claim out of a grey area. Mithun, you are muted. Can you unmute yourself? I can't hear you. Mithun, unmute yourself. I can't hear you. Now you are saying grey area. But if I ask my viewers, yes, Mithun, go on.
So, sir, let me ask you a counter question here. Is allopathy taking 100% responsibility if something goes wrong, including the COVID vaccine? Actually, I see, there are hospitals putting up big hoardings about, cure for heart diseases, etc. Can they give a 100% guarantee? There is an article in Guardian that I read, recently that, two very rare side effects have been detected in 99 million people because of the COVID vaccine. Who is going to take the responsibility of that? And India is a country where for years, companies, peddling processed foods and sugary drinks have enjoyed relative freedom in advertising, damaging our health. And there's hardly any whisper from organizations like IMA. यहाँ प्यास बुझाने के लिए, cold drink पीने का ad आए तो कोई problem नहीं है. But we have a problem with the advertisement of a company that is rooted in ancient wisdom of Ayurveda. Of course, I understand that the Supreme Court order is a warning on their advertising policy, but here we are, demonizing an entire organization. And I would like to say on record that Patanjali has dared to democratize Ayurveda. It has made, herbal remedies and wellness practices which are now accessible to millions that were not previously, accessible to many. Those were priced out of the healthcare system. Now, let me ask you, some more questions. There are pastors in Kerala and Tamil Nadu who claim to cure everything from backbone injury, AIDS, cancer with a simple touch. Doesn't the IMA have a problem with that? Doesn't Supreme Court have a problem with that?
I question you. Mithun.
Yes, sir.
Mithun, I have a question for you. See, Mithun. We are practitioners of Hinduism. If we are Hindu, I don't know your religion, but if you are, I presume you are, then you and I are practitioners of Hinduism. But you and I and Rahul Ishwar, though he comes from very, deeply religious family, a family of high priests, we cannot claim to have invented Hinduism. Similarly,
nobody can.
Baba Ramdev can say that at a personal level, he is a follower and a practitioner of Ayurveda. But he is not Ayurveda. Patanjali does not equal Ayurveda. And I now want to go to Dr. Professor Sharat Kumar Agarwal.
Can I
And
clarify
my
that
point is, you remember Uttarakhand's Ayurveda and Unani Licensing Council had in 2022, the Ayurveda Unani Licensing Council had told Patanjali to stop manufacturing 5 products on grounds of misleading advertisements. So this is not the first time. This is not the first time. And Dr. K.V. Babu had filed a complaint against it, saying they had an advertisement in which they said that eye drops were useful in glaucoma, cataract and other eye issues. If any of these issues remain untreated, they can lead to blindness. So will Baba Ramdev, if somebody goes blind tomorrow, say, yes, I take responsibility for it because you bought my product? Will he take responsibility for it? The problem is not... is with a claim. Can I get the other side? Dr. Sharat Kumar Agarwal, the argument being made is that Ayurveda, that you are against Ayurveda. Allopathic practitioners are against Ayurveda. Is your problem with Ayurveda or with Patanjali?
Absolutely not. And you see my quotes entire year when I was in the office as a president. I always use that we respect all the pathies. We are not against any pathy practicing authorized in India as per the constitution. Only thing we are against the cross pathy. Cross pathy is that the person who is not trained for a particular pathy and practicing that pathy, that is cross pathy. Number 2, we are not against any individual person. We are not against any individual company. And there is nothing for IMA that we are fighting against Ayurveda. We are fighting against the fallacious advertisement, claiming the false claim that they can 100% cure the obesity, thyroid, heart disease. That is what we are filing the complaint and we are fighting. We are not against any company.
Dr. Mithun Vijay Kumar asks another question. Can allopathy fully and completely cure heart disease? Can allopathy, has it been able to even till today completely cure cancer, completely cure diabetes? My counter to you is that somebody, if they are chronically diabetic, type 1 or type 2, the allopathic medicines will suppress the symptoms or suppress the disease, but not cure the disease. To which your argument will be, but the disease can be cured when medicines are accompanied by lifestyle changes. That same argument Baba Ramdev can put.
Yeah, see,
he can say, I'm not responsible, I'll give you a medicine. But if you have 20 chole bhature in a day and lead a sedentary life, I can't cure you of a disease. So how is allopathic claims different from Ayurvedic claims?
Learned co-panelists turned this debate in a very, trying to turn this debate. But see, the decision has came under the Act of Drug Magic and Magic Remedy Act. That is for claiming false claim. In allopathy, if anybody is producing a false advertisement, anybody can claim. See, anybody complain. If somebody is complaining against some wrong thing, it doesn't mean that he is only responsible or he is having the responsibility to go for claiming for each and everything. Two wrongs cannot be the right. If my learned co-panelists
so, but one minute. Why are you and so many against Patanjali? Because you're not against the smaller Ayurvedic companies. Are you against Patanjali? No, not you. But are many pharma companies, many foreign pharma companies? India is a big market. 140 crore Indians, 1.4 billion people. So we need to understand. Argument being made is that Ramdev, whether you like him or not, has used various techniques to build a 60-70,000 crore company, make acquisitions. He's a very smart businessman. He could be one of the richest people in the country today. And foreign companies don't like him because of the wealth that he has made through his company, which they should have been getting. Eventually, it's a fight for money.
IMA doesn't have any problem with any individual. We have nothing against anyone. Only thing we complained against the fallacious ad as a law-abiding citizen, law-abiding association of the country. And if anybody has any problem, they can also complain. So, see, this is absolutely a, a very funny
Sir,
argument.
there are many.
that if-
1 minute. There are many. 1 minute. There are many. I'm not naming. There are many global FMCG companies. Now I'm coming to a very important point here. There are many global FMCG companies. Viewers, you please do the research. I'm not naming. You'll find out, who I'm talking about. Who are using the same systems of Patanjali and creating semi-Ayurvedic products because they have realized in India that normal foreign type toothpaste does not work. But if you follow a Patanjali type semi-Ayurvedic format and sell your toothpaste, it's like if in India you can't sell that American cheeseburger, you have to make it a spicy burger. Right? In India, if the foreign companies are doing the same things that Patanjali is doing, you are not questioning them.
No, see,
But you are going after Patanjali.
I don't understand this argument. If I am complaining against one person who is not law abiding, it doesn't mean the entire responsibility comes to me that I should complain against all the thieves. No, this
Sir,
is not.
double standards.
If anybody
Sir,
else
can
is,
we
if
call it
anybody
double
else
standards?
is doing wrong thing,
Double standards.
Can I
wrong
make a
thing,
point
then
here?
it
He
should
says
be
double
complained.
Can we call it double standards?
Not
Can-
double,
just one
not double
submission.
standard, not at all.
Earlier,
not at all. Absolutely
earlier
not.
face white,
See,
earlier
no,
face
no, no,
whitening
no.
creams were there.
No,
Now
I have,
many people
see,
say
if I have
Ayurvedic
a
face
problem
whitening
with,
creams are
see,
there.
if I have find someone is doing wrong thing, I have complained it. It doesn't mean that I have the responsibility to find out who else all
Sir,
in the country
will you complain
doing the
against
wrong thing.
allopathic hospitals who promise such cures for
You
heart, for
complained,
producing babies?
sir, you
There
complained
are
against
plenty
them.
of
Why
Why
not,
don't you
sir?
hoarding
You are
companies
the
that you
doctor.
can see
You
where
should lead us.
Sir, you
have to
complained
stop
against
promising
that.
complete
Please don't
cure.
You
make
are
it.
the
Please
doctor.
don't
You
make
are
it.
Would you
the
dare
learned
to go
doctor.
against
You
them?
Against
should
the
also
versus
take action
allopathy
against
versus
the
Ayurved.
allopathy.
This is
You
not
are
an
the
issue of
learned
Ayurved
doctor
versus
who
allopathy.
should guide us
This is against the
the drug
fallacious that
mafia,
a
the
person
allopathy people
who is
who make
misleading the
false
people,
claims.
misleading the country, that don't
Why
go for
not
the
allopathy
Sir,
evidence-based
who
sir,
give
practice
there are
and
hundreds
go
of
for the thing
advertisements
which is
shown on
not
social
evidence-based
media
practice.
where, they promise miracle healing. Do you have a problem with that? Where, they promise miracle healing. Do you have a problem with that?
See, I
including
am
fake
again
healing?
repeating, reverbalizing. If you have anything against who is, breaching the law, please go and complain. We have no problem. We are not going to support
Your
him.
problem is
Please
your
believe.
problem is Baba
IMA is
So
Ramdev.
not
is
Your
your
going to
problem is
problem
not
compromise.
Baba
Patanjali.
Ramdev?
Your problem
Sir,
is
the simple
Baba
question is
Ramdev. Your
your
problem is
problem
politics.
No,
Baba
absolutely
Ramdev?
no. Our problem is misleading ads. If somebody is doing that, he should be, and we are thankful to the
Okay,
court.
here's a.
We are thankful to
Let
the
me get
court. The
Swapnil
court has set
Kothari's
the
take on
Misleading
this.
ads by others are also
Swapnil?
a problem for him. Just one line, Arnab ji, just one
Swapnil,
line.
what are the
Yeah,
issues
Doctor
this debate
rightly said it
raises?
is
Because
misleading
it's a very
advertisement.
popular
So what about
debate, very
misleading?
important debate. Lot of people use
Yes.
Patanjali products and they do it because of faith. Let's be clear about it. So I want your take on it. Can we say, okay, they are doing it with faith, doesn't matter what the advertisement says. If people believe in it, they have a right to do it.
No, Arnab, it's absolutely against the law. The Supreme Court is absolutely right because the Drugs and Other Magical Remedies Act 1954 and the Consumer Protection Act 2019 clearly point out that misleading advertisements shall be taken to task, and people who indulge into it, even if there are iconic people who advertise certain products under the Consumer Protection Act, can face legal action, including criminal action and fines. So the point is very clear, Arnab, that what the Supreme Court is doing is ensuring that these kind of misleading advertisements do not hold sway. And especially when you have some big juggernaut companies like the Patanjali, they have to be all the more cautious, Arnab. Now, tomorrow they could come out with anybody could come out with an advertisement saying that you can levitate in the air if you take this, or you'll have a 20 by 20 vision at the age of 50 like a fighter pilot. Now, people will be foolish enough in this country to take these things. And as you rightly pointed out, that faith is very important, and that faith should not be replaced by anything other than integrity. So the point is that you'll have to have more integrity when it comes to this misleading advertisements business. Now, Arnab, I suggest one thing where you have a great guy on 7th of March, Dr. Devi Shetty, coming to your summit. I think you can put this question up before him and have some little bit 5 minutes of interplay or interaction between him or anybody else who's there.
No,
on the
I'll tell you
panel
one thing. I
on
don't know
that
about
day,
Dr.
I
Devi
think he'd be
Shetty.
able
I'll
to throw
certainly
more
ask
light,
him.
given the fact that he's a
I don't know
medical
what
guy.
Devi Shetty's view on this is, and I respect him tremendously. He's a great person. We are looking forward to having him at the Republic Summit. I'm grateful for him for coming. But I know one thing. I know one thing. I'll tell you one thing. I have met so many allopathic doctors.
This needs to stop.
So many allopathic doctors, Swapnil, they don't.
As simple as that.
But I know a lot of allopathic doctors, Swapnil. Yeah, I know a lot of allopathic doctors. I'm not naming them. Some of the topmost in this country. If you ask them about Ayurvedic, they'll say you be careful, look at the dosage, look at the ingredients, make sure it is
Exactly.
that it has nothing in it which has a side effect. But it is not as if all allopathic doctors run down naturopathy or lifestyle changes or homeopathy or Ayurveda. They don't. In fact, the important thing to note is many Ayurvedic tablets that you take, the root of those tablets is replicated, I am told, in many allopathic drugs. It's just that if the same medicine is given to you with a different dosage, a different pharmaceutical company, a foreign pharma company were to sell that drug as an allopathic drug, some people would have more faith in it than Ayurvedic. So I think there's a balance between all forms of treatment. We would be foolish to run down Ayurveda. We must never do that. It's like running down yoga. Having said that,
and
please
Arnab,
tell me.
Arnab, I have one point more
Maybe
against Mr. Agarwal of the Mr. Agarwal, there is one point which I have not liked, that the Supreme Court took this matter up to task on the basis of an anonymous letter. When you were the petitioner in the matter, you should have followed this up, that despite several warnings, there were misleading advertisements being continued by Patanjali. Why there has to be an anonymous letter for the Supreme Court to wake up, and rather to take this action? You should have been the more vigilant person when you have been the petitioner. The Supreme Court is always on the guard. The Supreme Court always has a watchful eye. But I would appreciate if you were more vigilant enough and more emphatic to take it before the Supreme Court rather than an anonymous letter, because this is something which you need to follow as the Indian Medical Association,
I think is responding, Swapnil,
or the sentinel of our health in the country.
Whenever we found the fallacious ads, every time we complained against that. KV Babu is also a member of IMA who put in this thing, and in the July last year we filed the complaint in Supreme Court, and in the 21st November decision, if you see, Supreme Court clearly responded on the Indian Medical Association is the party. So I don't understand what you want from IMA.
Okay, I'll explain it clearly. Arnab, I'll just give you 1 minute. All I'm trying to say, Mr. Agarwal, is that you were the petitioner, you took up everything, you filed your affidavits, you filed your pleadings. Thereafter, you pursued the matter. The Supreme Court warned Patanjali about no further misleading advertisements, no further. What is that supposed to mean? That's the reason why the contempt notice has been issued, because there have been further misleading advertisements, and that has been brought to notice by an anonymous letter.
But that's we're getting into a legal technical area.
That is the point that I'm asking.
In that?
No, Arnab,
can I intervene in that?
See,
okay.
We have
Arnab, can I answer?
Just one submission.
Rahul.
Arnab, can I answer?
Ministry.
Yeah, actually, it's fair he answers once, Rahul. It's fair he answers one. Rahul, let him answer once.
Please.
Yeah, see, Mr. Rahul, Indian Medical Association is an organization which have lot of aims and objectives for the fraternity, for the society, right? Because it itself shows that we are not against Patanjali or we have no enmity with anybody. We got that decision. We believe in the rules and law of the country. Well, we didn't know that in spite of that, a strong verdict from the Supreme Court on 21st November, the company has a gut to breach that order. So it is absolutely out of our mind. The person is in our country thinks that he is beyond the law of the country.
No, sir, just one submission. Sir, just one submission. See, we have Ayush Ministry. Allopathy totally dismisses homeopathy. Allopathy totally dismisses Unani. But we have a Ayush Ministry. That means these are different paradigms. In scientific language, this is called a paradigm. A paradigm of Ayurveda and a paradigm of allopathy are totally different.
But having said that,
they may not accept one another.
1 minute.
But I totally agree. There should be checks and balances.
Rahul, listen. Rahul, one thing which can't be different, and I take this to Vijay, I take your point, Vijay. One thing which can't be different is the trust of the people. So when Coronil was advertised, it was advertised as evidence-based Ayurvedic medicine for COVID-19. And the whole packaging was, there's a big labs and there are major labs. If you see the advertisement, the promotion, there are scientists working in labs. It was almost like a huge cure which nobody in the world could find has been found. The packaging was very business-like approach. You have to be clear about it. It was aimed at selling maximum. It did not go with the riders. So maybe Baba Ramdev's and Patanjali's mistake is they have overstated. They've overstated. You see, also in the process of overstating, he said allopathy is a stupid science. It's a bankrupt science.
Exactly.
People are dying because of allopathic medicine. You know, so I'm saying, and then, so maybe it's the nature of the statement which was overstated and unthought.
Yes.
Right? Vijay, you want to take that? Mithun?
Sir, is it to me? Yes, sir. See, basically, this is an issue about their
Yes, it's to you.
advertisement policy, and you know,
Did he
they can
overstate
always
things?
make. Hello, am I audible, sir?
You are.
Hello? Yes. So I am saying this is basically an issue with their advertisement policy, and there are plenty of companies that have been warned by the Supreme Court in terms of their advertisement. And let's not try to use it against their product or the organization on the whole and attack Ayurveda. Because I heard the IMA representative saying that, you know, they are not against any form of alternative medicine, but I find them constantly attacking Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy. They have taken, you know, severe positions against these alternative forms of medicine. I don't think they are open to alternative forms of medicine. And as a country focusing on cultural revival, we must focus on developing Ayurveda, homeopathy, and all these, you know, major knowledge branches. So there are, I'm again asking the question, there are hundreds of advertisements shown on social media, especially on Instagram, which, you know, youngsters use a lot regarding miracle healing. You know, IMA doesn't have any issue with that. There are people conducting past life regression in Mumbai, Delhi, and all these metro cities claiming to cure a lot of issues regarding, you know, major health issues. There is no problem. I am saying there is plenty of research on Ayurveda, even in countries like UK. I was, you know, reading an article published by a cancer research firm in UK, and it says like this about Ayurveda. You know, Ayurvedic medicine uses more than 200 herbs and plants. Researchers have looked at some of the compounds used in Ayurvedic medicine in the laboratory, and they have tested it on animals.
You are one, Mithun, one point is, I think a lot of Ayurvedic practitioners in this country will agree with me. You know, the mistake we are making today is a very dangerous mistake. You are basically trying to say that Patanjali equals Ayurveda. You put this question to
I'm never saying that.
People who have studied, practiced over decades.
Patanjali is only a contributor in the study of Ayurveda.
The problem is,
it's a champion of Ayurveda.
No, one minute. Just please be clear about it. Patanjali will look at every which way to sell products.
Let us not demonize them. Not demonize them.
Ultimately, if tomorrow the business of Ayurvedic medicines, they would need some.
No, I'm not demonizing it. I'm telling you a reality.
They have to sell their products. They
it's
have
a
to make
listed
money
company. They'll do everything to increase their sales. Where's the demonizing here?
Let's not demonize. They are popularizing it and democratizing it in a way that people have more access to Ayurveda. Yes, in the modern market.
I am not saying they are not democratizing. I am simply saying, listen, 1 minute, listen.
See, ultimately, Patanjali has to survive the market
competition. It's very good. You're democratizing. You need to spread more about yoga and Ayurveda, and if Baba Ramdev is doing that, I support it. All that I am saying, that as a person who's also running a very big business, Baba Ramdev and Patanjali need to be more conscious that people will take them at face value. If you are saying, I will cure you of blindness, I will cure you of diabetes, I will cure you of asthma, I will cure you of cancer, I will cure you of glaucoma, I will cure you of cataract, I will cure you of this and that, and even COVID, then people will believe you. They look upon you as a religious person, they'll believe you all the more.
There needs to be filter, there needs to be caution. No, there needs to be caution. But Arnabji, I think your intention is right. But many people, you know, who are demonizing,
of course, it's a question on their marketing policies,
or national
but not a question of the product itself.
Good intention. They want to defame Baba Ramdev. They want to denigrate Ayurveda. They want to say everything regarding Ayurveda is wrong. And there are many people who does that from the allopathy side. We all respect allopathy. I had my vaccine. My family had vaccine. We respect allopathy. At the same point of time, the same respect is not returned from the allopathy side. Allopathy sees Ayurveda as some kind of inferior science you have to tolerate. That's not like that. There are two paradigms. Let them coexist.
No, I don't think so.
Each other is the right attitude.
I don't think so. That should never be the case. No, we don't. I don't think that is his intention. Nobody on this panel thinks about Ayurveda as the lesser science or that. Please do not give that spin. I'm sure Swapnil also doesn't. He's only making a legal point.
No, I don't.
Law applies to everybody.
Arnab, Mr. Ishwar, I have one point for you. You were saying all I'm against is what Arnab clearly pointed out was that when you say that allopathy is stupid, What are you trying to say? There is no way that a person of that stature or that company of that size should ever make that kind of a statement. That is not mere puffery. That is absolutely to denigrate a particular part of medicine, which should not be done. Number one. Number two, Mr. Mithun, you said that why catch only Patanjali, catch all the people in this country who are trying to mislead and say that allopathy can do this, allopathy can do that.
Yeah, please log into
the law
Flipkart
doesn't work
or
like that,
Amazon
Mr.
and
Mithun.
search,
That token,
cancer
you'll have to
cure,
catch
and you'll
every
find
sadhu baba
hundreds
on
of
the street
solutions to
who
that.
sells
Can
you
you
these
ban all of them?
potency tablets and tells you that you can sire 50 children even at the age of 60. So, you know, those arguments don't work in a court of law. It's very simple that when you have transgressed TOMA, that is the Drugs or this other Magical Remedies Act and Consumer Protection Act, you are to be taken to task, and that is exactly what the Supreme Court is doing, and that is why the contempt notice is there, because I
am
suggest
asking you
that
a very simple
Patanjali should
question.
immediately
Right
go to the
now,
court and
if you
apologize
search on Google
and
or if you log
refrain
into any
for
of the
making
e-commerce
advertisements.
websites,
Because
you can find hundreds of
that when
products offering
Patanjali and
solutions
Baba
to, you
Ramdev
know,
make those kind
severe
of statements,
diseases. Can
people
you
in
go
this
and ban
country
all
are
of them?
gullible
Can you
enough
raise an
to
issue in the
swallow
Supreme
it.
Court? As an
Swallow it more
Ayurveda
than the
representative,
pills.
can anyone file a case in the Supreme Court? Why are you against Patanjali? Because there is clear politics involved in this. That's what I'm trying to
because
make.
Patanjali is the major who is doing the misleading advertisement.
I'll tell you.
Patanjali is the one who is doing
I want to make my position very clear.
Can you search your e-commerce app?
It will be
and
foolish to
find
get down
hundreds of
any.
products.
It will be.
If you are doing wrong thing, you will be punished.
You will be punished.
You will be punished, and you should be
Dr.
punished.
Agarwal wants to say something. I didn't realize it's such a hot debate.
You should be punished if you are doing the wrong thing.
I am telling
You
you one
cannot
thing.
defend yourself.
Everyone should be punished. You should ban every product. You should ban every Ayurvedic product. You should ban every homeopathic product. You should ban naturopathy. You should ban
You are not
everything.
evidence-based. You are not representative of the Ayurveda science. Please don't make yourself
I am not representative
you
of
are
any
not an Ayurvedic
side.
doctor.
I am saying
Baba Ramdev
I am
is not
neither
an
the
Ayurvedic
representative
doctor.
of allopathy.
You
But
are
if you are the
making money.
representative
You
of
are printing
allopathy,
money.
can you
You
give
are
me an
printing
assurance that
money.
allopathy can cure
You
all
are
the problems of the
guiding
world?
the pupil, and
There is
court has
testing.
touched you.
I see hundreds
Court has touched you. You
I
have
see
the
hundreds of
guts.
hoardings on the
You
road.
have guts
I
to
see hundreds of
respect
hoardings on the road
after
of popular hospitals
the order of
that
the
claim
court.
to cure
You are
heart
against
diseases,
My God, it's
liver
ridiculous.
diseases, and all this. Can you take the responsibility of that?
You should have some humanity. You should have some humanity.
You are
not only
talking,
businessmen,
you are making an illogical point, sir. I'm asking a very logical question. There are
please don't
hospitals,
defend
there
the
are
Ayurvedic
hospitals in the country that are advertising about 100% cure for, you know, heart ailments, liver ailments, and all this. Can you take the responsibility of that?
And misleading the entire country.
My God.
You should be punished, and court has done the right thing.
You should
My
be
God,
punished.
my God.
You are the one who
I tell you one thing.
You are the one
I
who
tell you one thing, viewers. I never thought.
that is
I
wrong.
never thought.
You are not promoting alternative forms of medicine. That is wrong.
Arnab, this debate is trending. Arnab, this debate is trending. I've got at least 7 messages in the last 5 minutes
This
saying
debate
that
will
you guys
trend
are
in a
going great guns, keep going.
All I'm
No,
saying is
people are going crazy. I've realized, Swapnil, I've realized, Swapnil, this is the biggest debate in the country. No.
Exactly.
No, I am giving all sides. In fact, if Mr. Agarwal agrees and Baba Ramdev agrees and Acharya Balakrishna agrees, I'll get them with him. I have no problem. See, the problem is, I'll tell you one thing. What has happened now, wherever you ask, the biggest story in the country today is Patanjali. Nobody wants to talk about it. The biggest story in the country is Paytm. What has happened? Nobody wants to talk about it. The biggest story in the country is Byju's. Nobody wants to talk about it. At least many big media companies don't want to talk. I want to know why. That's when people start asking, is there a conflict of interest? I have no conflict of interest, ladies and gentlemen. And my question is, this is the biggest story in the country. I don't think everything that Baba Ramdev and Patanjali have done is wrong. It is wrong to demonize them. They have contributed a great deal to Ayurveda and yoga. But I believe, I can tell this straight to Baba Ramdev, maybe he has overstated things. And his mistake is he has said allopathic is stupid, rubbish, and he cannot say that. He's overstated that. He should not have. At the same time, he should also give some riders, because he's not just a doctor. He's not a doctor. He's running a very big multi-10,000 crore business. So this much rider, this much awareness spreading is also important. So viewers, this is a very controversial debate. I didn't think it will become so big. I'll close it today. I'll come back to it when Baba Ramdev comes back on my program. Thank you very much, everyone. 30-second break. Big story on the other side.